Welcome to Start 100K, where I'm helping people get to their first $100,000 in net worth. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the budget or spending plan. And that's just because it's one of those that it seems to be a really big stress point for a lot of people, and I really don't feel that it has to be. I think it can be really simple, and you can find a system that works well for you. So before we get started, just remember, this is not considered, or this is not intended to be tax, legal, or investment advice. Please consult a professional for your own individual situation. And remember to share, comment, and subscribe. Especially the share piece. It is a little bit scary sometimes to share things about money just because we're not sure about what other people are going to think about what we're sharing or commenting on. But I do know from personal experience, once you start talking about it, you find out that a lot of people have a lot of the same questions and are not going to ask. So that's a lot of reason why I'm doing this, is just to get some of these things out there and get some things out of my head and help people think about and talk about money. All right, so the budget. So you can call it a spending plan, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be that B word. It doesn't have to be a negative thing, but like I said, spending plan, all that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just calling it something different. So whatever you call pain, it's still pain. So I don't really know why that is. I think it's just one of those things when you have limited resources and then you further put extra limits on top of that, it just feels really limiting. And I think that overall it just feels like we're kind of taking some of our freedom. So that's why the budget represents restriction, and we can kind of just lose interest and disconnect from it. So there's a lot of different tools out there that you can use, but really at the end of the day, the biggest thing that we want to do is we want to get to zero. And what I mean by that is not that we're spending all of our money necessarily, but we want to make sure that we're getting all of the important things taken care of, and there's no money that isn't put to good use. You worked hard for this money, so you might as well put it to good use for yourself. So for us, at the end of the month, as long as we end up with zero, or actually for us, we keep a $1,000 buffer in the checking account. So at the end of the month, as long as we're at $1,000 or more, then we're good. And anything left over, we strip that out and we put that into our savings just for whatever. So kind of our slush fund, so to speak. So how do we do that? We've used a lot of different tools in the past. So there's Mint. You Need a Budget. We've tried the Every Dollar app, Excel spreadsheets. But really, what the big thing that's helped us out is not even worrying about those kinds of things, but actually doing automation. So automation in that all of our savings automatically comes out. So your retirement savings, that is something you want to automate. Our vehicle fund, that's something that automatically comes out. What else? Yeah, almost everything we have, that we have it set up. And I split this. I get 2 paychecks a month, so we split that up and kind of look at all that. So some things we can't, like childcare, that's automatic. And so we split it up. So if you know that you're going to get whatever the case may be, if you're going to get 2 checks that are $2,000 a month, then you can kind of split that up, and then you can try and allocate what's going to go in either category. So like for us, for instance, we have a lot more that actually lands toward the end of the month. So, so I write the check for rent over here at the beginning of the month. Actually my, so retirement comes out half in each. But the vehicle fund comes out the second half of the month. I think I try to have most of the utilities and stuff like that come out to the beginning of the month. So utilities. So you want to try and kind of balance this. And we typically we have been, or for the most part, have been taking out cash for groceries. So we take that out at the beginning of the month. That's one of our larger expenses. So this kind of balances these things out, and vice versa. And then also at the beginning of the month, we take out our personal spending. We give ourselves $100 a month for just whatever we want to use it on. For some, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but we're fairly frugal, so $100 a month goes a long way when everything else is already taken care of. So I stock up on beer at the beginning of the month, all that. And so whenever it comes to toward the 15th, so I have a mental calculation in my head. I know what, and then childcare, that comes out at the end of the month too. So I kind of know that I have to have, the rent and childcare plus our buffer left over. So whatever that amount ends up being, that's what needs to be in there on the 15th. So if I get paid, or the day before I get paid, if it's less than those big remaining expenses left, then I know I've got a problem, and that gives us a chance to adjust. So that's really the only time that I look at our money or budget, unless there's some big expense that we have. So and then I don't even have to, there's no way that I can, end up at the end of the month and not be able to save money for the important things, like retirement and stuff like that, because it automatically comes out. There's no way for me to mess that one up. And we've been kind of doing this for years. I'm a natural spender, so that's really important to have those limits in place. I'll even go through times where I hand my debit card to my wife and say, hey, I'm not allowed to have my debit card for a while because I've gotten out of hand with spending on random things, or right now I'm not allowed to have the password to the Amazon account because it's the same thing. It's too easy to order stuff. So that's kind of another trick, is just creating barriers. So the barriers to overspending. So one of the big things, like I said, you want to look at at habits that cause you to overspend. So like for me, I probably should have a breathalyzer on my Amazon account, because that tends to be late night whenever I'm bored and drinking beer. That's when I like all the cool gadgets pop up, but no, I don't really have that big of a problem with it. But there's definitely been some times where I think that lowered inhibition definitely caused me to buy an extra book or two, or whatever the case may be. But you want to look at habits that cause you to overspend. You want to look at people that cause you to overspend, and you want to also just look at feelings that make you overspend. So it's definitely a big one. So like feelings, bored, boredom. That's a big one. Lonely. Sad, depressed, all that. So that's that retail therapy. and those are, those are things that people do, but you want to try and find, low cost alternatives. So, so find other things that you can do free or cheap that that you can replace. So, and people, yeah, this is definitely one of those. If you, I bet anybody that's watching this, if you think about it, there's somebody that is maybe a big spender, or makes you feel like you need to spend more to kind of fit in, or keep up with them. And it may not be, oh, I need to buy a new car because so and so got a new car, but it might be, hey, they want to go hang out at this really expensive restaurant, and we do too. And then pretty soon, if you have 2 or 3 people like that, next thing you know, like, you've gone out to eat, 3, 4, 5 times, and spent 100, $50 to $100 each time, and next thing you know, you've overspent. It didn't really mean to. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything bad. You were just trying to have friends. So you could look at some different alternatives. Maybe suggest doing something a little cheaper, or hey, no, I wasn't really in the mood for steak, but I would really like to go for just an ice cream or something like that. That's maybe a little cheaper. But anyway, just something to think about. So at the end of the day, you gotta find something that actually works for you. So, can't write. So it works for you. So you got to find something that works. If it doesn't work, try something different. And if it's too complicated, you're probably not going to do it, unless you're just really into that kind of thing. But if you've got a partner, like say for instance for me, I like getting into the technical stuff. My wife does not. However, she's much better at not spending than I am. So I definitely have something to learn from her in that regard. So, yeah. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, if you end up in with a positive, that's what you want. That's what you're really looking for, is just to end in the positive every month. So if you have everything important automated already, and you end up positive, then that means you're moving toward whatever your financial goals are, either building your net worth, financial independence, whatever the case may be. So I hope this has been helpful, and yeah, don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, if you haven't looked us up or looked me up on Facebook, we do have the Start 100K Facebook group and page. So jump on there, make sure and answer the questions, the join questions, and yeah, please do share with other people. We want to grow this and see how many people we can help. So thanks. Have a great day.